along with Kevon Looney, also leaving the game injured last night. But Steve Kerr thinks Klay, who will have an MRI later today, will be good to go for Game 3 back in Oakland.
Klay said he'll be fine, but, you know, Klay could be half dead and he'd say so we'll see. You know, he pulled his hamstring. He thinks it's minor. So I don't know what that means going forward.
Sounds pretty optimistic on the part of Steve Kerr, depending on what that MRI says. Nick, how important is Klay to the Warriors' chances in Game 3?
If Klay doesn't play Game 3, unless Kevin Durant has some miraculous comeback, if they're out Klay and KD, they cannot win. Their offense does not exist when it's. We saw yesterday once Klay went out. The Raptors all of a sudden they're
Here
like,
we go again,
what?
Nick. This is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, I'm going to stand by it.
Well, explain to people what the Philadelphia Eagles means.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles was once they lost Carson Wentz. I said they can't win the Super Bowl. But
and what they do?
These are little apples. These are little apples and bowling balls here. We watched the Warriors lose Klay Thompson, and the Raptors all of a sudden played a junior high defense, box and one. You never see that in the NBA. What that means is we think there's one guy on your team that can hurt us. The rest of the guys, we're going to beat the elbows and the blocks, and we're going to dare anyone else to do anything.
And it was effective.
It was incredibly effective. I know Steph said after the game they were playing a janky defense, and my teammates took advantage of it. No, they didn't. Your teammates could do nothing. Like, it wasn't on Steph. And so if you don't have Klay or KD, you cannot beat a team as good as Toronto. You cannot win Game 3. Now, Klay has never missed a playoff game in his career. He's 120 of 120 in the last 5 years, 101 of 101. Even in the regular season, since he came into the league, they've played a total of 760 games. He's played in 735 of them. We thought he was seriously injured in Game 1 of the finals last year when JR looked like he almost broke his damn ankle. And Klay started Game 2, pardon me, and I think played 34 minutes. So I wouldn't put it past Klay. But we saw Chris Paul tweak a hamstring and not be able to play in Game 6 or 7 last year for the Houston Rockets. If they don't have Klay, they do not have enough offense to win until Kevin Durant comes back.
I have seen the Warriors, and I do believe in their system. During a game, a player getting hurt compared to, I got 3 days to prepare. So Golden State, huge advantage for them, him getting hurt in game number 2. Because now they can adjust. It's not as if they have to adjust in the game. Can they come up with a game plan that for 48 minutes that they can beat Toronto? I believe that they can. So I'm not on that theory that game number 3 is over with if Klay's not on the court. Steph is too dangerous. Iggy is dangerous. Draymond is dangerous. Boogie Cousins. They still got 4 All-Stars. I mean, and a guy that was a finals MVP on the team. Now, I can understand what you're trying to say, but in this, with these Warriors and the way the role players are empowered to be able to do more, it's only one game. Yes, they can win game number 3 without Klay. It does hurt them. The reason why they play the box and one defense is you play a box and one as if they have one shooter. And the rest of their players are post players, you have the box to be able to defend the rest of those post players, and you extend the defense only on that one player. It was very, very effective. But in game number 3, you can believe that the backups for Golden State, Steve Kerr will put them in a position that they're going to be able to knock down wide open shots because they will have wide open shots.
If Klay's out, though, they have 4 All-Stars in name only. Steph is an All-Star for what he does offensively. Draymond's an All-Star because of his All-NBA Defensive Player of the Year level defense. Iggy made an All-Star team 7 years ago, 7 years ago, and for a player he no longer is. And Boogie Cousins, we just spent time giving Boogie Cousins a ton of praise, and he deserves a ton of praise. But it's because he found a way to get 11 points.
There is a thing in sports called muscle memory. It's like right now, if I jump under a bench press, typically at the combine they have a 225 test. I can get under a bench press right now and throw up 225 8 to 10 times. I haven't bench pressed in 5 years, but it's muscle memory. When your body has been put in situations, not only your muscles, but your brain. That's what Iguodala gets through. He gets through on charisma. He gets through on knowledge. He gets through on strength. Boogie Cousins, I believe, is only going to get better. He hadn't played in 45 days.
Oh, I agree with that.
And now he's played a couple days. Draymond will be far more aggressive And they will come up with some looks for Steph that he will be able to get rid of Van Fleet in that box and one. Put him on the baseline, set some picks for him, have him come all the way to the top that way compared to starting him at the top, which gave them problems in game number 2 when that defense, that was the first they saw of it.
You, my friend, are on an unbelievable streak of predicting injuries and how long people are going to be out. From what you saw last night, did it just look like a little
lot easier? The hamstring's easier to play with for a basketball player than a calf or an ankle, because a hamstring, you can put a wrap around the hamstring and it limits your movement. Most of this is Klay's fault, because on that three-pointer,
He tried to draw foul.
he was trying to draw contact and put his left leg out, and his shoe hit on his heel, and you don't have any traction on your heel, so it slides out from under him. His body couldn't anticipate the ground not being there, and he strained his hamstring by overextending that left leg.
I want to be real clear on one thing. I think Klay's going to play. I think Klay is going to find
I don't think anybody knows. Steve Kerr comments after the game, Klay walked straight to the locker room. There's a reason. There is a serious strain in that hamstring. And when they tell you after the game, I keep saying this all the time, how do you know how severe it is? Do they ask for an MRI? MRIs are expensive. X-rays are less expensive. So if they think they could diagnose it with an X-ray, they would spend less money. But as we've seen with the Warriors, all their players of recent, and typically that MRI lets you know that there's some severity to the injury.
Obviously, I don't know if he's going to play. But if I'm just simply saying, if I had to bet, I would bet that Klay Thompson's not going to snap his consecutive playoff game streak. I think he's going to play, and he'll probably play well. But if he doesn't play, I do not believe the Warriors have enough offense to beat Toronto, even in Oracle.
I think it's cute that you said, if I had to bet. That's all you want to do.
Well, you can't bet on this right now, or maybe you can.
Sure you can.
No. Part of the reason why Toronto lost, Nick Wright jumped on the Drake train.
Oh,
No, I did not. I bet on the Warriors last night.
Did it, that last shot by Iggy swing the finals in favor of the Warriors?
Did you not place a bet on Toronto at all?
No, not at all. 0%.
More first things first after this.
Let me call you.